The music world was filled with sadness when news spread about the passing of legendary singer and songwriter Neil Sedaka. For more than 6 decades, Sedaka's voice and songwriting shaped the sound of pop music and touched the hearts of millions of fans around the world. When people heard that the beloved performer had passed away, tributes immediately began pouring in from musicians, media outlets, and longtime fans who grew up listening to his unforgettable songs. For many people, Neil Sedaka was not just a singer from the past. He was a symbol of an entire era of music, romance, and timeless melodies. Neil Sedaka passed away at the age of 86, leaving behind a legacy that few artists in music history can match. His career began in the late 1950s and continued for decades, producing hit songs that remained popular across generations. Songs like Breaking Up Is Hard to Do, Calendar Girl, Oh Carol, and Happy Birthday Sweet 16 became part of the soundtrack of people's lives. These songs were played at dances, weddings, and on radios around the world. When fans learned about his passing, many described the moment as losing a piece of their own memories. After the news of his death became public, conversations about his funeral and homegoing ceremony quickly began circulating among fans and media outlets. While many details about the ceremony were kept private out of respect for the family, the idea of Sedaka's homegoing was widely described as a celebration of a life that brought joy, music, and inspiration to millions. His farewell was not only about mourning the loss of a legendary performer, but also about celebrating the extraordinary journey of a man who devoted his life to music. Neil Sedaka's life story began in Brooklyn, New York, where he was born and raised in a family that appreciated music and creativity. From a young age, it was clear that he possessed a remarkable musical talent. As a child, he studied classical piano and attended the prestigious Juilliard School of Music. That early training helped shape his understanding of melody and composition, skills that later allowed him to create some of the most memorable songs in pop music history. In the late 1950s and early 1960s, Sedaka quickly rose to fame as one of the leading voices of the early rock and roll and pop era. His music combined catchy melodies with emotional lyrics that resonated with young audiences. Teenagers across America and beyond fell in love with his songs. Radio stations played his music constantly, and his records sold millions of copies. One of his earliest major hits, Oh Carol, became a worldwide success and established Sedaka as a rising star. Soon after, he continued releasing hit after hit, including Calendar Girl and Happy Birthday Sweet 16. These songs captured the excitement and innocence of youth during that time period. Fans connected deeply with the stories and emotions behind the music. However, Sedaka was not just a performer. He was also an incredibly talented songwriter. Working with lyricist Howard Greenfield, he wrote many songs not only for himself but also for other artists. Their partnership produced dozens of successful recordings and helped shape the sound of pop music during that era. Sedaka's ability to combine classical musical training with modern pop styles gave his songs a unique and lasting appeal. Like many artists, Sedaka experienced challenges in his career when musical trends began changing in the late 1960s. As new styles and artists dominated the charts, his popularity temporarily declined. But Sedaka refused to give up on his passion for music. Instead, he reinvented himself as both a performer and songwriter. In the 1970s, he made one of the most remarkable comebacks in music history. His songs Laughter in the Rain and Bad Blood became major hits and introduced his music to a new generation of listeners. The comeback proved that Sedaka's talent was timeless. His melodies and storytelling continued to connect with audiences decades after his first success. Because of his long career, Neil Sedaka became one of the rare artists whose music spanned multiple generations. Parents who grew up listening to his songs later shared them with their children and grandchildren. His music remained a symbol of nostalgia, romance, and joyful memories. Following his passing, social media quickly filled with messages from fans remembering the role his music played in their lives. Some shared stories about hearing his songs for the first time on vinyl records. Others recalled dancing to his music during their teenage years. Many described his voice as one of the most recognizable and comforting sounds in pop music history. Musicians and entertainers also paid tribute to Sedaka's incredible career. Many artists acknowledged that his songwriting influenced their own work. His ability to write simple yet powerful melodies inspired countless performers who followed in his footsteps. Music historians often describe Sedaka as one of the most important pop songwriters of the 20th century. During discussions about his funeral and homegoing, many people emphasized that Sedaka's legacy extended far beyond awards and record sales. What truly mattered was the emotional connection his music created. His songs told stories about love, heartbreak, and life, everyday moments. Because of that, listeners often felt as if his music understood their own experiences. Family members also expressed their deep sorrow after his passing but shared gratitude for the love and support shown by fans around the world. In statements released after his death, they described Sedaka not only as a music legend but also as a loving husband, father, and grandfather. Despite his fame, he remained devoted to his family throughout his life. Neil Sedaka was married to Leba Strasberg for more than 60 years, a remarkable example of lasting love in an industry often known for short-lived relationships. Together, they built a family that supported his musical journey and celebrated his achievements. Friends and relatives often described Sedaka as warm, kind, and humble despite his enormous success. In his later years, Sedaka remained active and connected with his audience. Even as the music industry changed dramatically with the rise of digital streaming and social media, he continued sharing his music with fans. During difficult periods such as the COVID-19 pandemic, he posted short performances online, bringing comfort and entertainment to listeners who were staying at home. These gestures reminded fans why they loved him so much. Sedaka never lost his enthusiasm for performing or his appreciation for the people who supported his career. When discussing the legacy of Neil Sedaka, it is impossible to ignore the incredible number of songs he wrote. Over the course of his lifetime, he composed more than 1,000 songs. Many of these became hits not only for him but also for other famous artists. His music influenced performers across multiple genres, from pop to rock to adult contemporary. Sedaka was eventually honored with numerous awards recognizing his contributions to music. He was inducted into the Songwriters Hall of Fame and received a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. These honors acknowledged what fans already knew, that his songwriting had helped shape the sound of modern pop music. As people reflected on his life during the days following his passing, many described his Homegoing not as a moment of sadness but as a celebration of an extraordinary life. A Homegoing ceremony traditionally represents the idea that a person's spirit continues beyond this world. For Sedaka's fans, the best way to honor him was to keep listening to his music and sharing it with others. The songs he created continue to play on radio stations, playlists, and memories around the world. Each time someone hears "Breaking Up Is Hard to Do" or "Laughter in the Rain," they are reminded of the joyful energy and emotional storytelling that made Sedaka so special. Even though Neil Sedaka is no longer here, the music he created remains timeless. His melodies still make people smile, sing along, and remember moments from their lives. That is the true measure of a legendary artist. In the end, Neil Sedaka's funeral and Homegoing were not only about saying goodbye to a beloved musician. They were about honoring a life filled with creativity, dedication, and passion for music. His songs will continue to echo through generations, reminding the world that great music never truly fades. For millions of fans, Neil Sedaka will always remain the voice behind some of the most beautiful and unforgettable songs ever written. His life may have come to an end, but the music he gave to the world will continue playing for many years to come.